back to Animal Communication Camp, a 5-day adventure for people and their pets. My name is Shannon Cutts. I'm with Animal Love Languages, and this is Pearl Cutts, my 22-year-old ever-present feathered sidekick. And today, we are talking about the wild and wonderful world of communicating through feelings. So, speaking of which, how are you feeling? How is it going so far? Have you started to get some intriguing little visual snapshots or perhaps sound bites of information from your pet? What has it felt like to give yourself permission to just play? Imagine, explore the possibilities for talking with your animal. I hope you've been having fun. Today is day 3, and we are going to talk about one of the easiest ways that animals can talk to people, through feelings messages. While feeling-based communication is one of the simplest ways for your pet to send you messages, it is also one of the hardest types of messages for people to identify and decode. Why? Because at first you will be tempted to assume that what you are feeling is coming from you. This is totally normal and natural, by the way. After all, you've been feeling your own feelings your whole life. So why would you doubt that something you are feeling is your own feeling? But once we open that conversational door and invite our pet to join us to talk, we have to consider the context for what we are feeling. Are you just going about your day and then something happens or doesn't happen, and then you have a feeling that corresponds to these events as they unfold? Or have you invited your pet to talk with you, and then you are suddenly feeling feelings you weren't feeling before? To accurately receive feeling-based messages from your animal as they are being sent, context really matters. Actually, in my own journey to learn animal communication, feelings-based messages have been the hardest for me to personally receive. If you are a highly sensitive, empathic person like I happen to be, you can probably relate to how challenging it can feel to separate out your emotions from somebody else's, right? This challenge doesn't go away just because you are talking with a non-human animal rather than with a human animal. The good news here is that if you have done any past work around sorting out what belongs to who, setting healthy boundaries, and setting strong intentions, this will serve you really well here. And if you haven't done this work yet, you may discover that it will help you improve the speed and accuracy of receiving and sending messages with your pet. So let's dive into today's topic. How might your pet send you messages through feelings? The first thing to remember is that animals can and do feel all the same emotions you feel. Just like you, your pet can feel sad. Just like you, your pet can feel happy. Just like you, your pet can feel grief, anger, frustration, excitement, fear. So you can bookmark this reminder for reference as you practice. The second thing to know is so simple, it is probably already obvious to you. But before you can identify an incoming feeling message as being from your animal, you first have to identify what you are feeling. I call this the emotional self-scan. I do this before every animal communication session, whether I plan to talk with my own pets or facilitate a conversation for someone else and their animal. Here is how to do a basic emotional self-scan in 3 simple steps. First, just take a couple of deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. This helps you to get quiet and centered, tuned into your own emotional state. Next, simply notice what is going on in your feeling world. If you had to choose just one word to describe how you are feeling right at this moment, what would that one word be? Here are some example words from a few of my own recent emotional self-scans. Calm, anxious, sad, exhausted, excited, frustrated, happy, irritated. Third, add that emotion to your list of pre-screened emotions before you tune in to start the conversation with your animal. Why is this pre-conversational emotional self-scan so important? Because your animal might send you a message using a feeling that matches your own. This is called mirroring, by the way. Here, your clue that the emotion you are feeling is from your animal and not just your own emotion is intensity. Here is an example about this that I will never forget. When I was doing my training with my animal communication teacher, I had to do a practice reading with a woman and her dog. I was really nervous to do a reading in front of my teacher. So nervous, in fact, that I hadn't been able to sleep well the night before. Well, wouldn't you know it, but the dog I was reading for was also really nervous. Yay! But as a newbie, I didn't understand that my anxiety all throughout the reading was getting stronger and stronger because the dog was sending me anxious feeling messages. I just thought it was me with out of control anxiety. Here, intensity was my clue that all that anxiety wasn't just mine. As you can see, this can take some practice, which is exactly what we're here for and what we are about to do. But before we begin, I'd like to mention one additional thing that might be helpful for you. A lot of people believe that animal emotions are simpler than human emotions, as in less complex or nuanced. I personally don't believe this. What I do believe is that animals are more direct when they feel an emotion or send feeling-based messages to their people. In other words, they don't get hung up in their minds arguing about what they feel or the subtle nuances of that feeling. They just feel it, communicate it in the simplest and most direct way possible, and then they go on with their day. Of course, this is just my experience thus far in communicating with animals, both with my own animals, with my clients' pets, as well as with wild animals. You can play with this and see how you experience your pet's feeling messages and those of other animals you want to talk to. For now, to keep things simple, we will use the same example questions we used in day 1 and day 2 of Animal Communication Camp. Here they are again, just in case you don't have them handy. How do you feel about your food, your bed, your yard, enclosure, or habitat? Show me something that scares you. Remember, this is just a pure open-ended question. Tell me about riding in the car, taking walks, going to the vet, eating. What is your favorite toy, treat, activity, place in the house? Or perhaps you have a favorite question now that you want to use. Using the same question while asking your pet to send you the answer using a feeling-based message can really help you start to experience all the different communication channels your pet can tap into to answer the same question. So just like we've been doing, take 5 minutes to just play. You can even set a timer if you have a hectic day all stacked up that is chomping at the bit to distract you. Trust me, I completely understand. So just set aside 5 whole minutes to take a few deep breaths, get calm, get centered, close your eyes if that helps you to focus, and form a question in your mind to ask your pet. And then ask your animal to send the reply using a feeling. And then notice, just notice. And notice right away before your mind gets into the mix and makes you doubt what you are receiving. Remember, don't pressure yourself. I have yet to meet a single person who really wants to learn to talk with their pet who hasn't been able to learn. Talking to other animals is your birthright, my birthright, and your birthright, right? It is every human animal's birthright. The only barrier you face to learning how to use this universal language of all species is your mind's own doubts. In other words, if you believe it is possible, it is possible. Let me know how it's going for you, questions you have, what is working best. We are all learning here together, and there's always more to learn. In our next animal communication camp, we dive into a truly weird yet wonderful way animals can send you messages through smelling and tasting. Yay! Have fun and see you soon. Have fun playing. Bye.